and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4060. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OakStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Oak Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. It isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, ball. Okay, but I really wish I was in Nebraska. A million mega ball. See, all they have to do is mix around in a big plastic bubble and roll down a ramp, and then people win millions. What a great life. As for me, I get thrown around all day and have to worry about getting spiked, which is about to happen right now. Oh, couldn't you just do a nice, gentle tip?
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize out vary by game.
On the block with Strick and Austin.
Donnie Nelson kind of was doing a little, backyard boogieing with
Mark on the side.
With Mark Cuban in the back rooms. Moves are being done, things are happening to which you don't really know about. That seems to me what happened in this situation. Things were going on, conversations was being had at the highest levels, and you're not in on the party.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Happy Hour.
Happy Hour?
Coming at you live from Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainer.
I don't know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
To my Empire Fence and Netting. On 93 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico joining you guys as usual. Hello, Rico.
Hello.
How's the day?
So far, so good. It's a steamy one out there.
It is.
But
it is warm.
Okay. I have to be careful how I say this. First off, I appreciate everybody that does work outdoors.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
has to deal with this heat and somehow makes it through your entire day, day after day, dealing with this heat.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a reprieve Thursday, and by a reprieve, I mean like 91 degrees. I appreciate you. But it's super cold in this office, and I need to walk outside every once in a while just to warm up. I'm not complaining. Yeah. I'm not, trying to say, whatever you believe that I'm trying to say, but it's super cold in this office.
Okay. Well, now's the time to do it. Go ahead and play the breaking news sounder here, Rico.
Oh,
go ahead and play the breaking news sounder. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are both open for you guys, as well as on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Now, this is a pretty surprising move, I think. There is a university board of trustees meeting going on in Columbus, Ohio right now, and the main person that's being featured is current former Nebraska president Ted Carter. Ted Carter is going to be taking the job as the new president at the University of Ohio State. And so Nebraska will be looking for a new president here in the coming months. Once again, there's a live board of trustees meeting going on right now. And as you can do with everything now, whether it's board of trustees, board of regents, anything like that, you can stream it live. And sure enough, when you bring up the stream, Ted Carter is right there. So Ted Carter going to be the new president at the Ohio State University, leaving Nebraska after just being hired in 2020. January 1st, 2020 is when Ted Carter took over the helm at Nebraska. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. You remember he was pretty involved with athletics quite a bit, right? So if we want to keep it, Ted Carter involved heavily in canceling or resuming football during the COVID pandemic. He was instrumental, obviously, in the handling of Scott Frost and a lot of athletic decisions. Also instrumental in bringing Matt Rule to Nebraska. Obviously, having those East Coast connections in a way.
I mean, Matt Rule mentions him by name during his opening press conference, talking about why he came. A big reason why he came to Nebraska was because of Ted Carter.
But once again, unfortunately, Ted Carter going to Ohio State and will be the new president for the University of Ohio State. Also big on funding. He was really involved with funding for higher education on both sides of politics. So, Republicans, Democrats, things like that, incredibly instrumental in being able to persuade them into invest into higher education and therefore the University of Nebraska. So did a lot for UNL, but more specifically did a lot for UNK, Omaha, the other branches, Wayne State, the other branches of the University of Nebraska, outside of just University of Nebraska-Lincoln. When he came in studio here, I believe DP had him in here a couple years ago, if not just last year. And he made that a very important goal of his to be involved in funding for higher education and things like that. So Ted Carter, one of his first tasks while at the University of Ohio State will be to replace legendary athletic director Gene Smith. So he'll be involved in that process, quite a bit as well. He received a $144,000 bonus as well after raising about $3 million from a private fund. And so Ted Carter, just after a few short years in Lincoln, decides to take the president's job at the Ohio State University.
That's what happens when you're good at your job. You get a promotion. I'm not saying that Ohio. Actually, I am saying that Ohio State, but it's gonna. I don't know all of the presidential duties that Ted Carter has to do for the University of Nebraska and now for the University of Ohio, or for Ohio State University. It's not the university, for Ohio State University. But as Nick said, it's going to be a big blow losing somebody who was so instrumental in multiple different facets at the university level and was just widely respected across the nation for his naval accomplishments and for being a Top Gun pilot.
Yeah, really fascinating resume Ted Carter has. Once again, just to remind you, so this is what Matt Rule said in a speech that he was giving back in the spring. He said, quote, "If Ted Carter's there, you should go work for him. Don't be stupid. Go work for the Admiral." So there's Ted Carter, once again, being one of the primary reasons why Matt Rule took this job.
That's awkward.
So now Ted Carter moves on, goes to Ohio State, and Nebraska's looking for another president here. So this is also, this comes from some various reporters who are just bringing out quotes about Ted Carter and things like that. Trev Alberts said this about Ted 2 weeks ago. Quote, "Ted's been here longer. It's easier for him to spend the time on athletics right now than it would be for Chancellor Dr. Bennett. It doesn't mean that Dr. Bennett is not capable of doing it. It's just that he's new." Once again, because the president of Nebraska, this board of regents, decided to, send some of the athletic decision-making power, if not all of it, over to the president, where previously it was a lot of the chancellor as well. Ronnie Green moves on. Dr. Bennett from Southern Miss comes into Nebraska, and Ted Carter was given a lot of the power in athletic decision.
So does this go back down to Dr. Bennett now? Where does
Potentially,
the power go? Does it stay with the new president?
More just from the live stream and from the video of the Board of Trustees meeting in Columbus, Ohio. President Ted Carter will begin at Ohio State on January 1st.
Oh, so he's got to finish out his
so
presidential duties.
He's
in
gonna
Nebraska.
he's gonna finish him out here throughout the rest of the year, and then take the job on January 1st. So, and Ohio State was targeting. There obviously multiple names targeting. All of them were sitting presidents, so they were going to poach somebody from somewhere.
Look, when you are as talented as Ohio State is in everything, and when you have as much pull as Ohio State does around the nation, you could pull somebody else's president. You can do things like that. So again, it's going to suck to lose Ted Carter, but wish him all the best in January once he leaves the University of Nebraska and heads over to Ohio State.
Yep. So once again, Ted
just letting
Carter,
you know that Columbus isn't as cool as Lincoln.
Oh yeah, have you been to Columbus?
I've never been to Columbus.
Anyway, so Ted Carter going to be the new president at the Ohio State University, and he'll finish out the rest of the calendar year while at Nebraska, and then take over in Columbus on January 1st, 2024. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Both those open for you guys the entire show today. As well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951 are all available and at your disposal for to get in touch with the show.
Words are hard.
Let's talk about this now. Moving on to Husker football specifically. I'm sure there'll be more thoughts as news and as headlines become available from Ted Carter's situation. But let's move on to Husker football, because Marcus Satterfield spoke to the media today and said something along the lines of how Jeff Sims has been completing about 65% of his passes in Nebraska's fall practices. And one of his goals, obviously, as there probably is for every single quarterback, is to limit turnovers and up the completion percentage for their season statistics. Now, Jeff Sims' high in completion percentage through 3 seasons at Georgia Tech was back in 2021, where he completed 60.1% of his passes. Otherwise, in 2022, he completed 58%, and in 2020, completed 54.9% of his passes.
Whew.
Low.
That's not great.
Those are low numbers.
Not what you're looking for in a quarterback. Somebody who's going to be toting the rock for you quite a bit.
So then I wanted to go, all right, well, we always talk about in the Big Ten, it's a run first conference, right? Run the ball and find, have a good offensive line, have a good running back, and you're going to find yourselves in a lot of close games.
Power football.
That's true. Snow. But then obviously the quarterback's pretty important as well. So what I wanted to do is go through every single quarterback of last year that was in the Big Ten for each school, each starter, I should say.
Okay.
And see, all right, what's their completion percentage and how does it translate to wins?
Now, did you look at how many passes they attempted?
Yes. All of them are like over 250 passes.
Okay.
So good sample size.
Okay.
Other than Spencer Petras, which understandable.
Well, they just didn't pass.
So we'll start with Spencer Petras.
Okay.
Iowa finishes 8-5 last year, and Petras completes 55.9% of his passes. And one thing we're gonna revisit quite a bit in this conversation is that benchmark of 8 wins.
Okay.
Because there's a correlation here.
8 wins and the percentage of passes completed?
Yes. There's a correlation.
I feel like there was also a 55% pass completion for the opposing quarterbacks to Iowa's defense.
Potentially, because Iowa's defense was so good.
They were very good.
Now, so let's look at this. The teams that did get over 8 wins.
Okay.
Iowa was one of them. They're somewhat the anomaly to where Spencer Petras completes 55.9% of his passes.
They're just different. They don't count.
So obviously you have your 2 up at the top, Ohio State and Michigan. And you'll find out that a lot of these teams are Big East teams, which doesn't make you necessarily feel the best as a Husker fan, because once again, it's a lot of missed opportunities that Nebraska somewhat had. Ohio State, CJ Stroud, they finished 11-2. Stroud completes 68% of his passes last year.
Only 68? That's impressive.
Only 68.
Or that's surprising. It felt like he completed like 90%.
JJ McCarthy, 13-1 for Michigan, completes 65% of his passes.
Okay. They ran the ball a lot.
Yep.
A lot of Blake Corum.
They did. And Donovan Edwards towards the end of the year. Penn State sneakily had an 11-2 season.
It's weird to say that's a down year
Yeah.
for Penn State.
So sneaky as they were, Penn State had an 11-2 season, and Sean Clifford was their majority of their starting quarterback.
Mhm.
Still completed 66% of his passes.
You know, based on what you hear from Penn State fans about Sean Clifford,
Don't like him.
I would have thought that it would have been 55.
Yeah.
I thought that he was somewhere around
Well,
Spencer Petras.
And also, to be fair, Nebraska necessarily hasn't had a whole lot of difficulty stopping Sean Clifford. It's been Nebraska trying to figure out what they want to do on offense.
Mhm.
Don't forget also that 2 years ago, or no, excuse me, during the COVID season when Nebraska did play Penn State, that was one of Nebraska's wins, and they actually knocked Sean Clifford out of the ended up getting benched, and Will Levis came into the game.
Yes.
Nebraska beats Will Levis. Will Levis almost brought them back.
But that was running Will Levis.
That
That was
was
before
Will-
Will
yes,
Levis
that
knew
was.
how to pass a football.
That was running Will Levis, and that was pre-Kentucky Will
Then
Levis.
he transfers to Kentucky, and all of a sudden he knows how to pass the ball
Yes.
only to Wan'Dale Robinson.
Now, well, and can't blame him there. So we saw how good he can be used, or how well Wan'Dale could be used in that Kentucky offense.
Crazy.
Now, in addition, so those were the double-digit win teams. Okay, Maryland went 8-5, Purdue went 8-6, Illinois went 8-5, and Minnesota went 9-4. All of their quarterbacks completed over 67%. I should say over 65% of their passes, right? Since that's the benchmark.
Okay.
And that's obviously Tanner Morgan at Minnesota, Aiden O'Connell at Purdue, Tommy DeVito at Illinois, and Talia Tungaviola at Maryland.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the teams that did not have 8 wins, had fewer than 8 wins, Michigan State, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Indiana, and Rutgers. All of their quarterbacks completed fewer than 65% of passes. To even go fine tune it a little bit more, completed less than 63% of their passes. And there's one guy on the list that completed 63% of his passes, and that was Casey Thompson. Casey Thompson in Nebraska, who finished 4-8, completed 63% of his passes.
So if you 2 more percentage points,
8 wins.
Huh.
And that's not necessarily what we're getting at, but
it's close.
More specifically, it's you see maybe why 65% is somewhat of an interesting number. And maybe this is a conversation 9 days ahead of the season. If you want some Kool-Aid, here you go. Because if Jeff Sims has been able to boost his completion percentage, and in turn, if the completion percentage is up, turnovers are more than likely going to be down.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the 2 biggest issues for Jeff Sims, is that he's not been able to hang on to the ball, whether that's running or throwing. And he hasn't completed a high percentage of his passes when he is throwing to his teammates.
Accuracy and ball security were the main concerns of Jeff Sims coming out of Georgia Tech. And if things are turning around and looking good in practice, as we are being told by Satterfield and Rule, then maybe, as Nick's numbers are kind of pointing out, if you can complete 65% or better than in your passing game, you usually finish with a winning record outside of an Iowa with a, otherworldly defense, and who really doesn't like passing the ball regardless. 65% is usually a solid enough number to get you a winning record. So again, if he can hold on to the ball, which completing that amount of passes usually would suggest that, you've got yourself a solid offense. Now, that's going to come around to a lot of different things, not just Jeff Sims' arm and accuracy, but does he have time in the pocket? Does he have to roll out and make throws on the run? Is the running game, being a nice complement to the passing game? What wide receivers do you have? Are your elder statesmen at wide receiver healthy? Are you running with a lot of freshmen who maybe run the wrong routes? Are you utilizing your tight ends? Are your tight ends injured? Who do you have lining up there? There's so many different things that go into that completion percentage. But even then, after everything is said and done, all we're going to do is look at those numbers after that season and say, did he complete 65% of his passes?
Well, and so, as Rico alluded to, and he's absolutely right, there's a lot more that goes into this. And we can pair this with the running back conversation, right? Gabe Ervin now is according, once again, Satterfield said it today that Anthony Grant's just fumbling way too much. So with that in mind, Gabe Ervin's number 1, Anthony Grant's probably number 2, and then Ramir Johnson's number 3 in some capacity.
But Ramir's the third down back.
You figure out a way to use them all, right? And so we find ourselves having this conversation again, and that's going to take a lot of the pressure off of Jeff Sims. If you can have somewhat of a conventional running game, then that turns into a traditional play action attack where maybe you get some tight ends involved. Maybe you get some running backs out of the backfield involved and no bubble screens, right? Like things like that.
Hey, bubble screens are fine.
Those high percentage, conversion plays, something that can not only get you 3, 4, 5 yards per play, but also give your quarterback and your entire offense somewhat of a rhythm and some confidence going forward, then maybe we're going to get somewhere as Nebraska fans and as Nebraska as a program. But I thought that was interesting. We heard the number of 65% today in Marcus Satterfield's conversation with media. And so I wanted to look, and that everybody above 8 wins or more, their quarterback play is important.
Mm-hmm.
Their quarterbacks completed over 65% of their passes in 2022, while not a single quarterback that had a team that led a team that finished with fewer than 8 wins passed for over 63%. And Nebraska actually had the highest with Casey Thompson back in 2022. So just something to kind of keep in the back of our mind as we go forward. Nebraska, though, 9 days away from kicking things off. One thing that is 8 days away from kicking off or from getting rolling.
Getting their fourth game, the most important
Their
game.
fourth
But they
game.
are 3 sleeps. 3 sleeps.
Friday. Yep. 3 sleeps. Husker volleyball. And so we talked about a lot about the red-white scrimmage yesterday that took place on Saturday, but we're going to get some more information on it as we'll be joined by Lincoln Arneal of Huskers Illustrated to kind of break down what he saw in the red-white scrimmage, what the projection of lineups is going to be for Husker volleyball and John Cook, and just kind of what our thoughts are on going into the season that has a team that has 0 seniors on it, but a lot of talent and a lot of competitiveness. So we'll talk about that and more. Lincoln Arneal of Huskers Illustrated joins us in studio as we talk Husker volleyball. They will have volleyball day in Nebraska next Wednesday. And so weather looks okay for the time being. So let's just hope, cross our fingers, and pray that it stays that way as the Huskers will face Omaha on that day. Wayne State and UNK will play earlier in the afternoon, and then all followed up by the one and only Scotty McCreery.
That's not important.
Scotty McCreery, Memorial Stadium next Wednesday night. Let's take a break. Lincoln Arneal joins us next.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Singer and at Rayo C. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 Hit and the TicketFM.com.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? Place your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on every event. Warhorse app to check and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live embedded. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be Nebraska games when played outside the state of Nebraska. Anyone to gamble. Gambling problem. 3-bet over.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated by a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out with the ring out and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future. Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Tune in this Friday as Early Break with myself, Steve Sipple, and Bill Bush broadcast from the Nebraska Army National Guard hangar ahead of the air show this weekend. You won't want to miss this one. That's this Friday for Early Break from 6 to 8 a.m. at the Nebraska Army National Guard hangar.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships. One with unlimited income potential from Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-95 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America. Touching lives, securing futures.
Hi, I'm a volleyball. It's an okay life. I go back and forth about it. But I really wish I was in or Mega Millions Mega Ball. See, all they have to do is mix around in a big bubble and roll down a ramp, and then people win millions. What a great life. As for me, I've thrown it all day and have to worry about spiked. which is about to happen right now. Oh, couldn't you just do a nice, gentle tip?
The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop feed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timely practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor at Just Days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. 1732 O Street, family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Summertime is in full swing, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway. Deck City, your local deck experts.
Join us at this year's Ignite Lincoln 15 at Rococo Theater on Thursday, September 14th for an inspiring night of stories that spark change. It's at ignitelincoln.org. This chance to be something extraordinary.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Forecast today, lots of sunshine. It'll be another very hot day. We'll see an afternoon high of around 104. Tonight, we'll see partly cloudy skies and very warm overnight lows with a low of around 79. And tomorrow, we'll see another very hot day and partly sunny skies and the high again of around 104. The meteorologist Kyle Tucker from 93.7 and the Ticket FM.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I believe you people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people? What do you mean?
Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Rico joining you guys as usual. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Sutter Heyman text line, both open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Sutter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951 as well. Rico, now we're joined by a special guest. He's been in the studio a couple of times with us, but now that Husker volleyball season is getting underway just this Friday, obviously big day next Wednesday for Volleyball Day in Nebraska, we bring in Lincoln Arneal of Huskers Illustrated. Lincoln, appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in.
Gentlemen, glad to be here. Disappointed there's no treats this time.
Yeah, maybe next time. We'll see what we can do the next time we bring in. We'll see if we can bring some
keep
stuff
coming back, hoping for treats.
Exactly. So this last Saturday, we were at the Red-White scrimmage in the Boudevini Sports Complex, and we were treated to a show of a four-setter, especially that fourth set 19-6 comeback by the White Squad. But something that everybody's been focusing on all off-season since the freshmen got here is the battle at setter.
Yep.
Bergen Riley, Kennedy Orr. I've given my take, and I didn't want to speak for all of the media, but I feel like I did speak for all of the media. But I want to get your take before I let you know what I said. Who's going to be the starting setter on Friday?
What was your take? I missed that.
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, you're not going to tell me?
No, I'm not going to tell you. You have to go.
Oh, goodness. I already wrote an article about this.
I know. I know what your take is.
You know what my take
exactly.
is. My take is Bergen Riley. I will say Kennedy Orr, I think, has made a lot of progress from last season. I think inconsistency just got the best of her at times. You saw a lot of times she was called for double hits, and just inconsistent play and just tempo wasn't there. I think she's made a lot of progress since that. Worked a lot in the spring with Coach Hunter and Cook as well too. But I think Bergen is just, I mean, it's just so smooth. She's so natural. Yeah. I mean, sometimes you just forget she's out there and just watch where the ball goes, because she makes it look so easy that as a freshman, it's impressive that she can play at that level and really do some things out there.
What's it mean for Kennedy Orr then? I mean, if that's where does she fit into all of this? Because her career has been a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Obviously Nicklin fills that void, has to come back and kind of not save the day necessarily, but be that ship that steadies the sea. What's this mean for Kennedy Orr if Bergen Riley is the setter?
I mean, you saw last year, it doesn't take much. I mean, Nicklin makes that one play and she's out for a couple weeks too. I think Nebraska needs Kennedy to stick around. And I think Kennedy's really been on an upward trajectory since she injured her knee her senior year of high school too. And she's still recovering from that and lingering physical limitations from that. So I think that has really, though that injury has really caused her to recreate who she is as a volleyball player, figure out what she can do and kind of regain her athletic abilities too. So I think Kennedy will still play a vital part in what Nebraska is this year too. Bergen's a freshman. She may go through hiccups and rough stretches as a freshman, and to have someone of Kennedy's caliber to be able to come in and spell her or take over a match if it's just not working for Bergen, I think that will be essential for what Nebraska hopes to accomplish this year.
We're joined by Lincoln Arneal of Huskers Illustrated, and this team has no seniors. We've got a couple of juniors who are leading the way for Nebraska this year, but the freshman class that came in, a lot of impressive athletes on there. You've got Bergen Riley, who we believe is going to start setter. Harper Murray's been showing out. Caroline Juravicius, Andy Jackson. All of the freshmen have been showing out in one way or another. And the battle at setter isn't the only one going on. We have the transfer in Merritt Beeson from Florida, who I believe is going to be playing all 6 rotations, going to be a starter. But that other outside hitter position, who is going to step into that? Who's going to be the opposite? Who's going to be with her?
First off, you're going to name all the freshmen and leave Lainey Choiboy out, do her dirty like that?
Look, she doesn't need anybody to say her name, and she is a spark plug, endless energy, boundless energy. When she's on the court, I just love watching her.
She's intense.
We're watching the red-white scrimmage, and she's out there barking orders to everyone. You can hear her. The serve's coming over. She's yelling the names. It's gonna be it. Back off. I got this. This is mine. Just diving, screaming, and after the point goes, she's running away from everybody, huddled up, just celebrating with the crowd. I love her so much.
Nonstop energy, nonstop excitement. She brings that and will throw her body wherever it takes to get the ball. But sorry, to answer your question.
Yes, the other position battles.
Well, so I think outside hitter, what I've seen from Harper Murray, she's going to be something special. I think I saw hits from her that I haven't seen from Nebraska outside hitters in a couple of years. The number one shot for an outside hitter is when you're on the pin, you're going cross court. That's the easiest shot. It goes against the defense. But Harper a couple times went line, and that takes another level of the next level of an outside hitter to be able to do that. So I think Harper, to me, and also just what Cook has said about her defensive ability, she's going to play 6 rotations. So I don't know if she has that on lockdown, but I think she's the favorite to start at that outside, that left pin number 1 spot. Then I think it gets really interesting. Lindsay Krause really showed out against that. She was one of those key reasons why the white team made that big comeback and made it a contest again in that 4th set. Allie Batenhorst, I think, has really improved from last year. Consistency is a problem for her. She will take very daring shots and she will make a lot of them, but she'll also miss some too. So I think, she can play at a very high level too, but again, consistency is a problem for her. And then she was the one who was chosen after Nebraska lost Kenzie Knuckles last year. She was the one playing 6 rotations too. So she can prove that she can play 6 rotations. And then probably the biggest surprise maybe of the whole scrimmage was Hayden Kubik. She has a heavy arm. She can hit it hard. I don't think she has the array of shots as some of the other outside hitters too. But again, something goes wrong, Nebraska feels very comfortable putting Hayden in position to carry the team, get a kill when they need it to. So out of those 4, I think Harper I think is head and shoulders, but she's a little bit above everyone else. But then I think just based off of Krause's determination, kind of the grit that she brings. I think it's gonna be hard to keep her off the floor too. So I think we may see multiple outside hitters. There's 3 matches this weekend, so that's a heavy load. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see different combinations at outside hitter this weekend.
The depth of this team is something that I know that John Cook is extremely excited about. And like you said, the 3 matches, you'll see a lot of different combinations. In the middle, you've got Becca Alec, who we all expect to take a big step from her freshman year to her sophomore year. You've got Maggie Mendelson, who's split between 2 sports in volleyball and basketball, but she was with the volleyball team for their overseas trip. I thought she went with basketball. She didn't, although that would have been really cool for her to game the system like that.
Going to Brazil, going to Greece, why not?
Exactly, no problem. Why not? And then Andy Jackson, who we've heard from multiple people is just a freak of an athlete.
Yeah.
What's the middle going to look like with 2 sophomores and a freshman?
I mean, there's a lot of growth potential there too, but you may see just mistakes where they make the wrong read just because they don't have enough game experience to realize and reading the other team at the net too. I think Becca Alec is just because she does have so much playing time from last year, and she was kind of that starter again a year ago. I think that she kind of has a leg up, but she shouldn't feel comfortable too. Andy Jackson is, I mean, you say athletic freak. What does that mean? You see her go up to block an attack, and her head is almost over the net too. She has springs for legs, can jump out of the gym. So there's a lot of potential here too. But again, what she lacks is the experience. And she talked about this when we talked to her the other week too. It's just making the proper reads on defense, being able to predict and anticipate what the other team's going to do and be part of what Nebraska's identity is, that block and D. So I think that's where she has a little bit more to catch up on, and you may see some of those freshman mistakes. And then Maggie, I think, really benefited from having a full off season, being able to train more with the volleyball team. She doesn't have the explosiveness of Becca or Andy Jackson, but I think she has a little more consistency. You know what you're going to get out of her. She has maybe a lot higher floor than the other 2. So, but just that consistency as well too, than as opposed to the other 2.
We're speaking with Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated. We've covered every position. We've got Lexi Rodriguez. Is there any more that she can do at that libero position? She's got Lainey Choboy and Maisie Bosiger. I always want to say Bosinger, and there's no N in there. There's no N in there. Bosiger helping her out back there. But you know, the 2-time All-American, probably the best player in the Big Ten, second best player in the Big Ten.
Yeah, she's one of the 2 unanimous choices for the preseason. And really, what's going to be interesting to see is how much teams try to take her out of the game plan too. You saw a little bit of it last year, and more so last year than her freshman season, where teams dictate their hitting patterns, so they're not going across court, especially from the outside hitter, across court hitting at Lexi. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how teams game plan. The one interesting note is after the game, Cook said that they tried to bomb the libero?
Yes, he said something. I'd never heard it before.
But they intentionally tried to serve at the libero and just kind of wear her down. And I mean, she missed a couple serve receives too, but I think she will make several plays each match and just like, what was that? How'd she get that? How'd she get that up? So I mean, there's always room. We ask Leslie what she can do. She's always improving, and just I think where she can improve is making her presence felt on the court with her leadership too. I mean, she's a little bit more soft spoken at times too, and maybe that's where Troy Boy will help poke and prod her a little bit too.
Definitely not soft spoken.
No, not soft spoken. But I think there is a lot of potential for Lexi there too, and to really take over a match. I mean, she's like almost like a cornerback too, where on football the cornerback can shut off half the field. Lexi can shut off half of the court on the back row just from her coverage area and ability to get to balls that very few others can.
It's just amazing what she can do back there. And so, as Nick was mentioning, Volleyball Day in Nebraska coming up next Wednesday. I would ask your expectations. Nebraska's playing Omaha, Wayne State playing University of Nebraska Kearney. But really, I just want to know, how do you think that this team might react to being out there in the what did it say in the fort, like 90 something degrees with whatever degree of humidity, with 90,000+ fans yelling at them?
It'll the first couple rallies may take a little bit for them to kind of realize, oh goodness, that what we're doing. But after a few times where the ball goes up, they'll get used to it. And I think, oh yeah, we know what to do. And Nebraska has a little bit of advantage from playing beach, so they know how to deal with the wind and the elements. I don't know if they've ever played in this much humidity. I mean, granted, I don't know how humid it gets out in Hawaii when they go out there for their annual trip, but they have a lot of experience playing in that. But no one has any experience playing in front of 90,000 people. Sure. So that'll be fun, I think, for them. And they can't not stop talking about it. They're just, you ask them questions every media session. They glow up. They're excited to hear about talk about the possibilities and what that event is, and the celebration of volleyball that it is.
Okay, so once again, Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated, joining us. Couple more here for you, Lincoln. So by the way, the forecast for Wednesday, 87 degrees as of right now is the high. Winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. So I mean, you can't ask for a much better. With it being outside, with being too picky, saying, "Oh, I wish there was zero wind and it was 75." Without being too picky. First of all, with how hot and humid it is right now out there, it's a good thing that it's a week later and not coming up this Wednesday. It would be brutal if they had to play in today or tomorrow.
Yeah, late August. They'll take that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nebraska opens up the season this Friday against Utah State. Give our listeners a couple things just to watch, right? For the casual volleyball fan that's going to flip on, I think it's on Big Ten Plus and Nebraska Public Media. What should Husker fans just be looking for out of this team that doesn't have a senior? There's still a lot of curiosities about surrounding this team.
I think the number one thing is how the offense works. I mean, it's still a work in progress, but I think they've added a few new wrinkles. I think with we mentioned Merritt Beeson will play all 6 rotations. Watching her hit out of the back row, what can Harper Murray do out of the back row too? And the third thing out of that is what kind of connection the setters have to the middle blockers too, because I know that can disappear. Last year that was a big frustration, a big gripe of set the middle. So I think how the offense reacts, if it is Bergen, how she handles these pressures of starting on your first match in the Nebraska uniform. Bergen is very calm, and even I think she'll handle it well, but how she reacts to that and how she goes about her distribution. So that to me what I'm most interested in this weekend.
We've seen it a lot in recent years with John Cook, where he's willing to make changes early on in the year. Does this season have that type of feel to it as well, where there might be some changes within the first few games? Or matches, I should say. Excuse me.
First couple of weeks, there may be some tinkering and just kind of figuring out what the best combination is. But he has 2 weeks to do that, because you got Omaha next week and then Kansas State that weekend. But then after that, you got Creighton, you got Long Beach State, Stanford. And Kentucky too. Wow. So the big hitters come in pretty quick, and so less so than the previous few years too. But there's still a little bit of time to tinker and figure out what the right combination is those first couple of weeks.
So just really quick, getting off of Nebraska before we get you out of here. The Big Ten has seen a lot of players moving around, a lot of movement in the Big Ten on the volleyball side of things. Who are you most excited to see at their new location?
2 answers. One, I think what Temi Thomas-Alera does at Wisconsin. She's a grad transfer from Northwestern to all Big Ten. She was the featured player there. I mean, by head and shoulders above everyone else. How does she fit into Wisconsin's system? They got a lot of hitters, a lot of attackers. So I think that. But then the second one is Penn State has a new setter, and Mac Pedroza, who came from Ohio State, and then Jess Maruzik from Michigan too, and a couple other hitters that they brought in transfers. So I think Penn State, I think, is the most intriguing because they have great pieces, but how do all those pieces fit together? How long does it take to gel? Are there hiccups during the first couple of months? By the time they get the Big Ten season, they may have it all figured out too. So I think Penn State to me they have a lot of upside and a lot of potential too, but they need a lot of things to go right. And I mean, they're getting great players, so I'm sure they can figure out and work through some of those things.
Once again, that is Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated. Lincoln, appreciate you coming in the studio, man. We always really appreciate guests that want to do the extra and come in the studio instead of just over the phone. It makes it a lot better as well.
Are you calling out all of our guests?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I can mention them by name if I need to.
No,
I'm
just saying Lincoln's the best.
Yeah,
that's really all it is.
There it is. So I'm sure we'll have you in again a couple weeks here down the road once we get rolling. Husker volleyball opens up Friday night against Utah State, and you can check it out on Nebraska Public Media or also Big Ten Plus if you choose to buy that subscription of one of the crappiest services. I will say, but anyway, that's just my thoughts when it comes to, unfortunately,
it's not a fan of
Big Ten Plus.
It's
anyway,
fine.
all right. Once again, Lincoln Arneal, Huskers Illustrated, joined us to talk Husker volleyball. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap up the show with Strick and Austin coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and the Ticket FM.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Lane's Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing. That's 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast tier to save you money. And you can 5-gallon bucket to us. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GE Landscape Supply or call 402-467-1627. Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextag.com or call it 402-380-043. Turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical visit, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast today, lots of sunshine. It'll be another very hot day. We'll see an afternoon high of around 104. Tonight, see partly cloudy skies and very warm overnight lows with a low of around 79. Tomorrow, we'll see another very hot day and probably sunny skies and the high again of around 104. Meteorologist Kyle Cutter from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet G. And Bob just wanted to say a record-setting July here at Koppel. The summer sales event continues in August, and the incentives are crazy good. Check this out. Got 0.9% along with a $2,500 trade-in rebate on select new models. You heard right. 0.9% financing has been extended along with a trade-in rebate. Also, our GM certified used inventory is filling us. So make that money-saving drive to Koppel south of the interstate or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa,
That love pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Happy with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's always good to be joined by Jay Foreman, my partner in crime on Friday nights at high school football broadcasts.
Yeah. I had to change my wardrobe because of Jay Foreman. See how you do?
Don't make him feel. Don't let him make you feel bad, Strick.
Jay Foreman runs the parking lot.
Dude, don't even get me started.
We need to get him a bike
on the parking.
We need to get him a bike so we can just ride around like Debo.
Was your spot open?
It was.
Okay, good.
Studio. I appreciate that. Jay Foreman, you running, man. You
I almost parked.
You like Suge Knight? He the Suge Knight of
when Nick told me you were coming in early, I moved my car because I was like, I'll be out of here before he gets here.
Yeah, don't get folded up over that, man.
Hey, new
It's
nickname,
ridiculous.
but I'll be Suge Knight. Jay Suge Knight.
It's ridiculous.
Foreman.
We also got Austin on mic 5. Hello, Austin.
What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
Great.
How are the allergies?
They're killing me, but
Good.
we're hanging in there.
All right, cool.
You got allergies, dog? In this
Brutal.
heat?
Brutal.
And even Jay Foreman put my man in the booth.
I
today.
know.
In a box.
He said, you
I
got
know.
to go in the box.
Put Austin
I know
in the
my
box.
place. I know my place. Get it.
See, man, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is just another complaint to HR, man. You guys just straight be on bully mode. When I
Don't
come
say
in
you
here.
guys.
Yeah.
Don't say you guys.
It starts with you.
Why?
Then it goes
What did
to
I
you.
do?
I didn't do it.
Jay,
Then
what
you
did I
recruited
do?
Strick.
No, it's him.
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
And
Yeah,
even,
Austin.
Even Bach probably doing it over there. And he on the look. He just. You know what I'm saying? Even
gave
Bach,
you the thumbs up.
even Bach want to get in there.
He gave you the palms up like, I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about.
Bach gonna bully me and tell me 2009 defense better than 94, 95, and 97. That's his bully tag.
Oh man.
Lexus.
Anyway, Jay, what's going on, man? How's life?
Everything's all good, man. It's hot as Hades outside, boy. I'm telling you, man.
My
That
goodness.
heat just broke me. I mean, listen, okay, football is in the air.
Yeah.
It's great I love this time because it's like 25 straight weeks of football, right? Whether I'm
Like it or not.
right now I'm
Good or
willing to
bad.
watch bad football, right?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
but man, and so it's in it's just like NBA. It's in your bones. But you know what gets it out of my system? That heat.
Oh, yeah.
Because listen, 102 degrees, probably 116 index with some football equipment on.
Yeah.
It just doesn't match up with Jay Foreman right now.
Well, we're seeing high schools go to 6 a.m. practices, even night practices, like under the lights,
Right.
because of that.
Well, to be honest with you, like everybody's like, oh, this build toughness, but it becomes a point when it's so hot out, it becomes kind of productive.
Mhm.
It's not safe.
It's not safe, but then your body
focused.
won't perform.
Yeah, you're focused.
You're focused.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this is the funny story. I was just telling somebody about Dom Capers. In Houston, it's like this all the time at training camp. So his idea was when we did 2-a-days, we practice early in the morning and then we'd practice at night. And then the next day, he was like, oh, we're going to practice at the highest heat index to make us tougher, right? I'm sitting there like, everybody's a professional athlete. They're going to be in shape.
Yeah.
And the game we playing is at 12.
Yeah.
So really, all we did was get worn out. I said all our best games were done in practice.
Well, I said that in
We
baseball.
lost the game Sunday.
Like you guys didn't have a dome.
Yeah.
I said that when I was a rookie in baseball, and every one of our games, because you play every day,
Mm-hmm.
every game was at 12 noon in Florida in the summertime.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
was
terrible.
Listen, It was miserable.
Right.
To me, it seems like it's a form of hazing.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. When you in the when you in the like the minor league. Oh yeah. Let's see how bad you want. Yeah.
They said you really want to make the show. All right.
Yeah. And
Here
then
you go.
They trick you. Now they don't do that now. They're a lot better. I think
They tricky Stricky or they tricky Nicky you?
Tricky Nicky. It was tricky Nicky. But what they do is then they put you in a nice apartment. Yes, you have two roommates, in each room,
Right.
but it's a nice apartment. Great kitchen. Boom, they pick you up, take you to your spot, feed you in the morning, and then take you to the thing for your workouts. Cool. You're like, okay, I'm just gotta deal with the heat. But boy, the next year they take you up, you get the single A. They say you got 3 days in this hotel. After that, you're paying for everything. Now you ain't making a lot.
Right.
You paying for the hotel, or you need to find a spot. You got 3 days plus practice to find a spot to live. I mean, we lived in a roach infested. We just found the best thing we could, and that's how they do you. It was hard, man.
Right.
It's not people. Yes, the glitz and the glamour of it. Yes, you were a high draft pick. Yes, all that good stuff. But the minor leagues was a mother.
Yeah, man. I mean, the difference in different universities. The big deal that we'll talk about on old school. Probably you guys they just got into the locker room, and look, man, it's different. Even some guys that have transferred out when they go to other places, they don't really realize how good they have it. But remember when Ed Reed took over Bethune-Cookman?
Down there, he walked around and filmed it.
Yeah, he walked around and filmed it, and there was mold in helmets. Heck, his office wasn't even vacuumed out. I mean, so it's definitely a difference, and it can affect the way you play. I mean, if you don't have the basics of the basics, right? And I think there's a lot of guys, particularly in baseball, that get held back from that.
He owns something. I noticed the difference between bad NBA organizations that I played for and good ones.
Oh yeah.
When we was with Ross Pro Jr., it was cool. Yes, he had the money, but he
stingy.
He wasn't putting it into the team.
Yep.
But when Mark Cuban, it was like a shift from the beginning of the season. We was 24 and 30 something in the first half, and the second half we was almost 40 and 28. It was like the total opposite.
Right.
But guess what? The only difference was Mark Cuban had taken over.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Started actually putting money into taking care of his guys.
It was a total difference.
I always tell people, man, if I could have got to the New York Giants in
your prime,
I would have played. I would have played way better, and I know I would have took less money to stay there, and that's living in New York, New Jersey.
That's a fact.
Because the way that they took care of their players, and that's where you can really tell the difference in ownership. The owners that get pissed when you losing are the ones that actually invest in their players, because they know I'm covering everything that you need from a sports nutrition, mental health, best coaches, and they're spending the salary like Philly. Their ownership, they go right to the GM. Hey, you better draft good. What do? Like Pittsburgh, Rooney's first class. Little bit with Jerry Jones because he gets in there, but he messes up when he tries to become an owner. And DB will tell you, and I grew up a Redskins fan, now the Commanders, Daniel Snyder has ran that blue blood franchise into the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's other ones. And so that's why you see the same teams, and it starts up top. And that's how you wonder, how guys, like for instance, this window for Joe Burrow and them is very short. Why? Because you got the owner before training camp telling you, well, we got all these good players. I ain't paying them all.
Yeah.
So that goes right into the locker room. I remember my last year in Houston and getting a little heads up from my agent. And we had one of the best defenses in the league. Well, and he had heard from a conversation that Charlie Casserly had with one of his other kind of GM partners that my agent represented, that was like, hey, look, I'm going to blow up the defense if we don't make the playoffs to keep my job, and then we'll just draft some guys and go young. So we knew once I found that out, you going in there and just like, right. Yeah. And you got David Carr in the worst offensive line in the league.
Yeah.
You already know what's coming. So it's a big difference, and it hurts a lot of guys, and it's no different than college.
Dang. Austin, what's coming up on the show today, gentlemen?
We have some good stuff. So I'm sure you guys touched on it, the Ted Carter news.
Yeah.
The day after USC hires away Washington's AD. So a little cannibalism in the Big Ten, but is Nebraska a stepping stone now, not a destination?
I
We'll
like
get
that.
into that. People are making their picks and such for the Big Ten. We'll dive into
Right.
that. And Jonathan Taylor seeking a trade. What does he hope to get out of it? What do the Colts hope to get out of it?
Gotcha.
We'll dive deep into that, and I'll
Yeah.
probably rant.
Stricken J for president. We started right now. Start the poll. Hey,
you
thought we
I'll
changed
be
some
your
stuff up
assistant.
in there. Hey, Mary Ellen's will be up in there. Hey, we were brothers be walking around pimp walking. You got us up in there.
Got a kitchen in Memorial Stadium.
Hey, you know when they say when you move in the neighborhood, there go the neighborhood. They're going to rap.
That'll do it for Rico and myself. Stick around on the block with Stricken Austin coming up next. And Old School with DP and J and Austin coming up from 4 to 6. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Adios.
This is Lincoln's home for Spark on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royal Baseball. KNT KF 93.7 The Ticket.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. There are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times without even knowing. At 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Ironhide Construction has an immediate opening for an administrative assistant in their Lincoln office. The ideal candidate will have experience performing a variety of general office, administrative, and clerical duties. If you have excellent communication, interpersonal, and organizational skills, and are the type of person who enjoys keeping track of all the fine details, then this job is for you. Learn more online at ironhideconstruction.com/careers. Ironhide Construction, quality buildings and genuine service at a reasonable price.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs. Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored provide a warm environment, feel safe. They do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your Tailored Light today. Call 402-422-thetickets.com.
And with a link to professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Procedure at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier,